were made last year, thanks to a grant that the West Virginia Geological Survey received. This broadband strategic plan was made in cooperation with the broadband mapping program, which resides within the Geological Survey, and the Broadband Deployment Council. We conducted a review again of the 11 regional broadband plans, and we analyzed speed data that has been mentioned before. We interviewed providers. Well, providers were present in most of the regional team meetings, and we discussed programs with federal, state, and local governments that were present at those meetings. We did meet with providers for the state plan. We did it in a way that we thought was more productive. We met with the cable industry, we met with Frontier, we met with CityNet. So we believe that we got a sense of what they see as a future of broadband in West Virginia. We concluded from that more planning and deployment and more development of broadband initiatives need to be done in the state of West Virginia. The West Virginia Strategic Plan, again, was developed to serve as an instrument to carry out objectives and goals of the plan. And then again, it's just a strategic plan. It's not a business plan. So it's basically not ideas as to where we should move forward to. The summary of the 11 regional plans, the regional councils helped us with this. They were funded by a grant that we received, well, the Geological Survey received from NTIA. We received $4.7 million, of which we utilized some of that money for the 11 regional plans. And we formed planning teams at that level. Residents and businesses were surveyed, and those are the surveys that we have mentioned before, about 5,000 surveys. The plans identified the main need for broadband as education, infrastructure, and economic development as the targets for those plans in broadband. The main challenge that we found on the 11 plans was funding and leadership. First, who's going to pay for it, and who's going to lead it. And some of the regions had a little bit of trouble as to who's going to own the plan at the end. The broadband speed test, the purpose was to measure actual download and upload speeds to determine if speeds met or exceeded FCC's broadband definition. We have some numbers listed here. Yes, there has been some questions about this data set that we purchased in conjunction with the Deployment Council. Those were self-reported speed tests. We agree with that notion. So it may be skewed towards those that are dissatisfied, but yet at the same time, we have to recognize that we have approximately, in total, this is not from just one provider, but in total of in the 6 months that have gone for 2014, we have approximately 125,000 individual IP addresses that have not met the speed. And those are the ones that we're including in the plan. We know and we understand that many companies have a lot more better speeds, and they may have a lot more customers than the 125,000 that we may have as not meeting the speed test. We understand that, but we have to recognize that there's still work to be done. Anyway, as a background of programs that have gone in West Virginia, the mapping program was really successful. We gathered data from providers thanks to the NTIA grant. We did most of the work as the Geological Survey, and Kimball Engineering supported this effort for us. And the data that we gathered served for several mapping projects. One, of course, is the interactive map that we have for West Virginia. Another, the FCC mapping layer that basically defines, our data was used to define areas where CAF funds are available for providers. Now, the other one was the state broadband type map. It was a very complex map methodology to create them, because you have to translate something that is written into a legislative rule to translate it into a mapping component to map it. It was difficult. And lastly, the data was also utilized to build the national map. Recent West Virginia broadband projects, we were aimed, for the most part, improving broadband in the state of West Virginia. Some programs raised awareness, provided education, and so on. And supported diverse, they were supported or funded by diverse programs. Of course, we have BTOP that has been mentioned. We have the Broadband Deployment Council. And in this thing, it's an error. It should have been GES, not OGC. And CAP funds that are being utilized through the state. Current West Virginia grant programs are the Technical Assistance Grant, Infrastructure, and Demand Promotion. The Technical Assistance Grant Program was ran by the Geological Survey. We had very good response. During the second round, we received 128 applications for money for this mini grant, and we were only able to award 38. In the first round, it was 64 applications, and we only funded 33. Provider meetings, we held, as I mentioned before, meetings with providers. We held the discussions of the regional findings, and in general, they agreed to the need for broadband growth and increased access in West Virginia. They were supportive of most of the projects that provide education and outreach. They recommended a funding program to support diverse broadband projects of some sort. So that leads us to 11 strategic objectives. One is to identify a lead